About this idea of a new tool for creating peer-reviewed journals. And so at that time I had only PowerPoint to show, so today I have no PowerPoint to show. So this is on the wiki page for this talk. There's a link. I added demo notes to the screen I'm going to show you today, and the notes for our talk today. Also, if you go to scio12.internet.net, you'll see Blitz notes. So this is a typical Annotum journal. It's obviously dummy content for purposes of demonstration. But I just want to say a couple things about the Annotum project and how it originated. Some of you may be familiar with Google Null, an article publishing system that Google produced. There's a publication on Null that comes from PLOS called PLOS Currents. The thinking behind PLOS Currents is that peer review can take too long. And during the influenza pandemic, there was some concern that if it took a year to tell people that they should wash their hands or they'll die of influenza, that more people would die, and that was bad. So the notion became, let's produce a publication in which the peer review happens much more quickly and has a quick turnaround and has things like web-based editing and tools that people who blog are very familiar with and comfortable with. So the goals for Annotum, and I was sort of happy to take these goals off and the features from the presentation from a year ago and see what we had, and we've actually met all these goals. Basically repeat the null feature set, including the ability to output XML in a format acceptable to PubMed Central, address some of the limitations of the null platform, but not intended to replace all the other publishing systems, obviously. The architecture that we settled on was a WordPress theme. Looked at OJS, Drupal, and WordPress just provides a lot more flexibility. It has a whole ecosystem of developers and designers and people who can add functionality for you. The fact that I set this site up, not just this page, but this site up in the last day, kind of tells you you can get a lot done in a short period of time for WordPress. And we had to add some things: equation editor, structured figures and tables, and the review workflow that I'm going to show you in this demonstration. The XML that Annotum uses is based on a subset of the NLM-compatible, the journal publishing DTD called Kipling, and there's a link there. You can go read all about that. So we launched on November 22nd, and we have about 3,600 sites on WordPress.com, posted for free. I'll show you how to set that up at the end. And about 27,000 downloads from WordPress.org with me. So 30,000 in a few months. So pretty happy about that. So what's the time?
You're fast on the back of this time.
Okay. So I'm going to have to go through. Okay, I'm going to go through pretty quickly. So I guess the best way to get started is to just take a look at the site, what we have on a typical Annotum site and what the articles look like. So you have this carousel, which is optional. It's a nice way to demonstrate, to display certain articles with a nice graphic. You have a listing of articles. You can use gadgets like a Twitter feed. Nothing wrong with tweet. This demo is horrible. And so here's an article, again, just dummy text. We've got some structure. We've got some information about the author, the website, for example. We have a structured equation with a caption and a title. We have a figure. I can zoom into the full figure if I want. We have tables and some references down below. I'll show you about the references in a moment. So instead of, the way I used to do this demo is I would create a new article and I would show people how to enter text in a WordPress form, and that's not appropriate for this audience because many of you probably already use WordPress. So I'm just going to show some of the typical workflow you have after this was already set up. So now I'm going to go over to my other browser where I'm not logged in, and I'm an author, and I've just got an email that says from the editor saying you should review some comments that we submitted. So I'm going to go to that URL and I'll log in. And here's my comments at the top. I can collapse that and see my article editor, but I can read the comments that were submitted. Now this article's already been submitted in the workflow. I'll show that in a second. So that's why my only choice here is preview. But I can see this is one of the 3 kinds of comments that articles can have. The internal comments, which are between the editors and the authors, viewable only in the article editor. There are review comments, which are only visible to the reviewer who submitted them and to the editors who's chosen those reviewers, and then the public comments you see on the website. So we've got some various comments here. Some other features on this page. I can view different revisions. And compare. It's not quite track changes in Word, but I can at least see if you have multiple people working on an article, I can see what changes have been made. In this case, I took a space out of there. And you can also see that I've added another author here. His name is another author. So multiple people can work at the same time. If someone else is working on the article or there's an autosave that's happened, you'll get a message up at the top to let you know that it's being worked on. So now I'm going to go ahead. I have another article that I'm working on. And again, I have my internal comments. I'm going to get that out of the way. If I decide I don't want to see that, WordPress is pretty good about allowing me to remove different pieces of the screen real estate. And so here's the WYSIWYG editor. A couple comments about this. There are some little tags up here you can see in a very faint gray. Tell you something about the structure of the article. And you can be aware that you're in a section, and the section has a title, the title has a body, and paragraphs within. I'll do a reference here. So references, inserting references, something you don't have in normal WordPress. These are not structured references per se. You can use a DOI or a PubMed ID to look up content. We'll take a look at that. So use Crossref, and use the DOI. About Christmas. That. If I want to have a link to that article, I can do that. And I'll save that. And now I can insert.
Is there a reason they're not using the DOI as the URL?
Feature not yet implemented. This provides more flexibility for the author to put whatever URL they want. So there's a little footnote, and then you'll see references. It's not populated yet because it hasn't been saved. We'll save that. And we'll just assume that's all I wanted to do with that article, just a brief article. I can preview it. Reference at the bottom of the link. So I'm right now finished my editing. If I want, I could add an author and we could work together on it. And there's some workflow built in, which we'll see in the email in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this to review. And tell them the status. So I'm going to go ahead and log out as this person. And I'll go back to my email. So you can see that all the emails going to one mailbox for this demonstration. But this is an email to another Anno author who's being told you've been invited to co-author. And now this is an email sent to the editor, which says both to the editor and to all the authors collaborating that the article can be submitted. So now I'll go ahead and click that and log in as the editor. And now my task is to assign, Great. So now we see it's been submitted, waiting for review. So I can now add reviewers. Add reviewer. I'll add that person. Now it's the approver, the reviewer that's there, and save that. I can also, because I'm an editor, I can make changes to the article. If I see a typo, I can fix it and do other things like that, even though it's been submitted already. Now in my email, I'll have an email that says, you've been invited to, okay, this other one. Here's a reviewer who's been invited to review this article. So I'll take a look at that. There's the editor. And that's it now. So it's in review. I'm the reviewer. To know most of my people. Here I can type some comments. And I can make a recommendation. And I like this article, so I want to improve it. And it shows me to bring and save what I want to save. Now I will go back to become the admin and the editor again. Take a look at what my list of articles have. And here's this. It shows me that it's pending. Say edit, you can only look the approvals. Okay, so let's see. The backup article, which is also pending. It has some reviews in place. So 1 and 2 reviews are complete. I'm the other reviewer, so I'm just going to go ahead and approve it. And the editor, I've decided I'm not going to wait for the other reviewer to respond, or that's up to me as the admin. Approve the article, and there's a final step after approval, which is publishing. And the idea here is to have a pause in the process so that you can do copy editing and make sure everything looks okay. Now, in fact, it was published. Here's the article. There's some text in it. The 2 authors and so on. So that's, a pretty simple workflow. I only have 10 minutes to do it, and I can get through the whole thing. Obviously, you want to spend more time and put in substantive comments. I'm going to go ahead and show you a richer article and just show one other demonstration, which is the XML. So I can view this article, which has this format that we discussed. I can get the XML version of it. It's saved here. I can go to my PMC XML validator. Run the file. Check the file. No parsing errors. And in fact, I can take that same file, go to a different site, different look, and let's say, for example, I have a local installation of Annotum. I work with a collaborator in our offices together, and then we want to submit it to a journal that's running Annotum. We export the article, go here, choose, import. I have to map my authors to the right people. There. Here's the file. Use the same article I included on the site. And that file, because it parses properly with NLM-XML, go right into public. Very quickly, there's a GitHub site. Please fork the code, make improvements, and send a pull request if you'd like to make improvements. there's a support site, and there's information here about how to set things up. And even though I only have 30 seconds left, I'm going to do. Okay. I won't take any questions.
Just yeah, I'm sorry, but if there's questions, if you first ask it, then I'll move.
Yes.
If you have time for a question, we run a very small network of sites using Annotum, and what do you want people to work on next? What's on your
That's a great question. If you go to Annotum.org, there is a post about the roadmap. If you want to look at, there are some changes that are in the works right now, but the first link you'll find in the Future Enhancement Roadmap, and all these things. So, but please contact me at Annotum or through the site, and I'm happy to let you know. Thank you.
Great, thank you.